abstract. Omission of n. Passenger, stranger, messenger, danger, dangerous, contingency, emergency, exigency, stringency, appointment, attainment, contentment, assignment, entertainment, enlightenment, abandonment, ironmonger, oneself. Omission of R. Demonstrate, remonstrate, remonstrance, ministry, monstrous, manuscript, henceforward, thenceforward. Omission of ECT. Expect, expected, inspect, inspected, inspection, prospect, respect, respected, retrospect, imperfect, imperfection, imperfectionly, suspect, suspected, object, objected, project, projected, architect, architecture, architectural. Omission of KT before IVE. Perspective, prospective, productive, obstructive, objective, destructive, destructively, retrospective, irrespective, irrespectively. Omission of K before shun. Production, obstruction, objection, objectionable, destruction, jurisdiction, introduction, retrospection. Exercise 115. The appointment of a stranger as passenger superintendent is a disappointment to the local candidates for the position. There is a rumor of a demonstration of protest against what have been called the monstrous methods of the administration in this matter. There is, however, great danger in a form of remonstrance that may provoke a dangerous outburst in place of the present contentment, and with great respect to the leaders, we fail to see any prospect of their attaining their object if they demonstrate in the way suggested. It is always the unexpected and unsuspected contingency that is likely to happen, and we expect the present emergency will prove no exception to the rule. The introduction of a policy of obstruction or destruction or even of interference with reasonable jurisdiction may be productive of discontentment all round. It is to be hoped every means will be sought for the attainment of the objective. Exercise 116. We fear there is no prospect of success for those who raise objection to the appointment and quite irrespective of the merits of the respective parties, we would urge the abandonment of obstructive measures and the entertainment of the suggested resort to threats. Further enlightenment is necessary if matters are to proceed smoothly henceforward. It is pleasant to turn from this subject to the attractions of the countryside where there are numerous objects of entertainment and instruction for all who care to look for them. The jury builder has not yet begun his destructive work, and the monstrous things which he calls architecture, but which cause disappointment and grief to the genuine architect, have not yet appeared to ruin the prospect. The unspoiled beauty of nature still remains to compel our respectful admiration and to remonstrate in silence against those whose object is to make money, even though it involves the destruction of the most glorious prospect. Exercise 117. Please send a messenger to the passenger office and ask if there is any danger of the train being late at Macclesfield. The present emergency has arisen through the death of the man in charge of the post office and the abandonment of the stranger's claim might bring about the very contingency we are striving to avoid. We had the same emergency on the appointment of the postmaster 3 years ago, and the entertainment then arranged had to be abandoned because it was felt that it would be dangerous to proceed. The abandonment caused disappointment, of course, but contentment followed enlightenment as to the cause, and eventually the attainment of the original object was secured. The demonstration against the administration of the local funds was, in our opinion, a monstrous mistake, and we shall remonstrate as vigorously as we can. The monstrosity in the shape of an effigy of the chairman of the administrative committee was of the most objectionable nature and only served to demonstrate the poor taste of those who designed it. I should have to write a long manuscript if I desired to express my resentment properly, and even then my remonstrance would not be too strong. I should like to assist in the administration of personal punishment upon the men at the head of this monstrous business. It is pleasant to know that no one from the ministry was concerned in the matter. As to the architect's project for the alteration of the club premises, I rather suspect that his idea of the architectural possibilities is imperfect and incorrect. With great respect to him, because of the imperfection of my acquaintance with architecture, I respectfully suggest that he should take counsel with someone whose architectural ability would entitle him to express an opinion. I quite expect the architect will consider me disrespectful, and I am upset at the prospect of a disagreement with him. My object is to secure an inspection of the premises as they are, and I believe that unexpected and indeed unsuspected possibilities may develop as a result. There can be no disrespect in suggesting that a retrospective view of the case so as to secure a proper perspective should be undertaken. This is exactly what I suggested some time ago, but it was considered an interference with the administration and no steps were taken. Exercise 118. Irrespective entirely of the different views of the respective parties to the discussion, I am compelled to consider the possible results of the obstructive course taken by the council. There can be no doubt that the objective would be more easily attained if these merely destructive methods were abandoned. They can only be productive of mischief in the case of prospective candidates for admission to the society, and thus whether we consider the matter prospectively or retrospectively. A retrospective examination will show what has occurred in the past in similar circumstances, and a prospective consideration will show what is likely to occur in the future if the respective parties are allowed to follow their own merely obstructive ideas. Each will be destructive of the other and will certainly act destructively, no matter what each may say. They should be instructed to consider respectively and collectively the effects of the present methods and advised to refuse them. Exercise 119. The objection to the obstruction in the new bill is not simply a personal matter. The obstruction is objectionable on several grounds. First, because it will certainly lead to a destruction of the opposition which has been so carefully arranged. And secondly, because the matter is one which falls under another jurisdiction. The introduction of various methods of production and reproduction has no bearing on the question, as the least retrospection would have shown beyond doubt. It may sound disrespectful, but my own view is that the architect and his friends, who are, I suspect, the authors of the bill, are simply unaware of the real circumstances of the case and have not given the project the consideration it deserves.